Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a bit more real and a bit more serious. I want to talk about the confessions that I have being a mom. Before I begin, I do want to say that I love Grayson with all of my heart. He is the best thing that's ever happened to Kevin and I, and not a day goes by where I'm not just so thankful that he's our son. But with that being said, these are confessions that I have, so I just wanted to be real with you guys because I know that motherhood isn't always sunshine and rainbows. There are days that are so hard, and that can be made even harder if you're going through postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. Those can magnify everything and make it just that much more difficult, especially as a new mom. I wanted you guys to know that if you are experiencing these things or you feel this way, you're not alone. You know, other people feel this way, and it's okay to feel this way. It doesn't mean you don't love your baby, but let's be real. Being a mom is so hard and has a lot of challenges. Something I've realized about motherhood is it's lonely. And this may be something that a lot of people are familiar with, but if I have to confess, I never realized it would be this lonely. I'm at a point in my life where I have a few friends, but most of them live far away. Actually, all of them live far away. And I have my one best friend, my best friend in the whole world. She lives a few hours away now, and I have a few friends that I talk to every now and then, but I don't have a single friend that I can see on a daily basis or even every few weeks. I just don't have that. And a lot of that is because, well, when you become a mom, you start to isolate yourself a little bit, but also in college, Kevin and I were dating. We dated from the time I was a freshman through when we graduated. And we didn't really focus on our friendships. And we're noticing as we're getting older, and now that we have Grayson, it's getting a bit more lonely. It's very hard to make friends when you're a parent, and I never realized just how hard it was until literally none of our friends have kids. And we're pretty much one of the only married couples. My best friend's married. They have no kids though, and so it's just us. Kevin does have a friend that comes over a lot and hangs out, and we love that. But there are times, you guys, where I do crave that. I crave friendship. I see so many people have like mom groups and all these people that have maintained these friendships for years and grown up together, and now they all have kids and they all get to hang out, and it's so special. And I wish for that, you know, I think that would be so amazing. It's just not the situation we're in right now though. I have told Kevin quite a bit recently how lonely I feel. Not lonely because of him. I don't feel lonely in my relationship, but I just feel that sense of loneliness, you know, and wishing I had friendships. And I don't say this to try to get pity or anything, but it's real. This is something that a lot of moms do experience. And so if you are feeling very lonely as a mom, you're a new mom, and none of your friends are in that position yet, and so you can't hang out with them as often as you used to, or people are distancing themselves from you because you have a baby now. I've heard and seen this for myself. It happens. It's normal, and I was telling my mom about it, and she said when Grayson gets a little bit older and he's in school and you know, he has friends in his classes, you'll start to form friendships with those parents. But right now it is lonely, especially with the pandemic. We're staying home more often, and it does feel lonely, and it's hard. There are days where I crave friendship. I crave just getting to go out and hang out with a girl, but it's just not the reality right now. That's something I've had to accept. I'm also very thankful that Kevin is someone I consider my best friend. If I don't have girlfriends at this point in time, I have my best friend, but if I just don't have anyone around nearby at the time, I always have Kevin. And I think it's also important that I don't compare myself to other people on social media or on YouTube, because everyone is different. Everyone has different bonds they've created with people, and just because this point in time may be a little bit more lonely for me, it doesn't mean it's going to be that way forever. And the next one is kind of related to that. I constantly compare myself to other moms. I compare myself to other moms on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm thinking to myself, they look so much happier, or their life looks so much more put together. They have all these cool things for their kids. They're always taking their family fun places. Why can't I do that? And when you get in that rabbit hole of comparison, that's when things turn ugly. And that's something I have to constantly remind myself. That's something Kevin reminds me constantly. Pulling yourself out of that rabbit hole is so crucial for your own mental health. I actually deleted my Facebook app recently because it just was kind of getting to be a little bit of a toxic place. And it's not that I won't re-download it, but there's just so much negativity on there, and it was affecting my mental health. It really was taking a toll on it. And so I deleted it. I didn't deactivate my account or anything, but I did delete it. Honestly, it felt like a weight had literally been lifted off my shoulders. I might have to do the same with Instagram here pretty soon. I don't know. I find myself falling into that comparison trap again that I mentioned. And it's just something that I even talk about in my videos. I literally tell you guys, don't compare yourself to others. And then I don't take my own advice. So that's my second confession. I am horrible about comparing myself and my life to other people and envying other people. And that's something that I really am desperately trying to work on. The third thing that I hate admitting, but no, I have to confess to, is I wish I could just always be patient with Grayson, but I can't. And especially lately, he's kind of getting into a stage where he's teething and he's having an extra hard time with that. He had been going through sleep regression, so that was a struggle. He's starting to hate his dog band because he's getting tired of it, and he's having a harder time, and he's just not as happy and easygoing as he has always been. And so for me, I have to work really hard to keep my patience, and I don't always. He's 1 year old. He can't help how he's feeling. He doesn't know why he's feeling the way he is. He doesn't know why his mouth hurts. He doesn't know why he's not sleeping at night, or, you know, why he might be experiencing a little bit of pain because he's growing. He doesn't understand these things. I'm working really hard on not showing that frustration. And sometimes Kevin does remind me, you know, babe, don't get frustrated with them, because if you work really hard to make them breakfast and you put it in front of them and they throw it and throw a tantrum, it can be a little bit aggravating, but they don't understand why they don't feel well. They don't understand why their gums hurt. They don't understand any of that. He's 1. He just turned 13 months old. He isn't aware of why he's upset or why he's in pain. I try to never direct my frustration towards him, but I don't want him to see that I'm frustrated, because I don't want him to feel bad about that or upset about that. Next confession is that I needed Grayson's pacifier more than Grayson. Actually, Kevin and I both did. We just always popped it in his mouth during the day because we're like, oh, he's crying, pacifier, pacifier, pacifier. And when we started weaning him from it, he's not fully weaned from it yet, but when we started the process of not giving it to him when he was awake, he was literally fine. He didn't need it at all. And that was when we realized we used it as a coping mechanism, not him. That's just, I mean, probably really normal thing for parents, but I do have to confess that we totally needed his pacifier more than he needed his pacifier. Since becoming a mom, I have started to feel like I just would give one day. I would give so much for one day of just not being needed. Not having to change a diaper, not having to make several meals, not having to clean up toys or chase my toddler around. I feel guilty for feeling that way because I just love him so much, but especially having the pandemic and being home all the time, it's hard. It's really demanding. We often don't take him places. We just take care of him ourselves. Date night is usually us at home and he's in bed. We don't really go out. You know, we're just homebodies by nature anyway, but that can be difficult because we just don't really ever have a break. And I don't want to say that we need a break from him, but the reality is we kind of do. We don't need a break from him, but we just need a break from parenthood. Just a small break, just a little breather to realign us, refocus us, replenish our energy and everything. So that's something that we need to prioritize, is maybe once a month going on an actual date, even if it's just a day date, and having him stay with my mother-in-law or my mom and dad, and just, you know, having that time with each other, but also getting a little bit of a break from parenting. But my confession is I do dream of a day where I just have no responsibilities. None whatsoever. Like, I can do whatever I want, because I never realized, I mean, it's obvious, but I never realized that you just don't get that when you're a mom. You just don't. And I guess I just took those days for granted before I had kids. The last 3 confessions are so rough for me to admit. I just feel really bad admitting them, and I hope that there's no judgment here. Of course, you know, this is the internet, so I'm sure there'll probably be a little bit of judgment. The next one is really not fun to admit, but it is that I would turn on CoComelon or Mickey Mouse as soon as Grayson got up, and I would try to use that as his source of entertainment, like throughout the entire day. And that was a lot of because I was still working from my phone at the time, and I was trying to balance everything with that, but also it kind of like was easier. It was easiest, and I thought, well, he's entertained, so it's fine. I want to put a disclaimer here and say that I am not against screen time, like whatsoever. And if you do let your kids watch TV all day, I totally get that. Like, that's totally fine. I'm pretty sure we did that when I was growing up, and we're fine. Because I am home and now I don't have my social media job, there's gonna be times where I should be interacting with Grayson. You know, he doesn't need to stare at the screen all day long. He's not even that into TV. We were trying to make him a TV kid because it was easiest for us. And I feel bad looking back on that because, like, he's only 1, so he's not at that stage where he's like relying on watching TV yet, but he can very quickly turn into a kid that wants to watch TV 24/7 if we aren't careful. We're trying to be way better about that. In fact, usually what we do is we'll put it on if we're cooking dinner, put him in his walker and let him walk around, and put Mickey Mouse on for him. But that's pretty much it. Or sometimes in the morning, if we have something to do, I'll put it on for him, but I'm not going to just let it be on all day long. And again, no judgment if you do, but this is my confession video, so I just thought I should share that we used to literally let Grayson watch TV all day long. And the truth is, he could literally take or leave the TV, but we were like, oh, he loves it so much, he loves it, he loves it. When in reality, we loved it because it was silent and he was entertained. Whew, okay, this next confession, it's the second to last one. It's another very, very difficult one for me, and I saved the most difficult confessions for last because, well, I really didn't want to say them at all, but I know I have to because I want to be real with you guys. And that is that I was literally making Grayson the same exact thing to eat every single day. And if that were something healthier, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. But you guys, I was literally giving him Cheerios and bananas for breakfast, like every single day. For lunch, he would have either frozen meatballs that I would microwave or chicken nuggets that I would microwave. They're the Earth's Best brand, but I was looking at them and they're really high in sodium and they're just not that good for him. And then I would warm up a bag of steam in the bag frozen vegetables. I wouldn't even like make them on the stove or anything. And maybe some shredded cheese or crackers or something on the side. And that was literally what I would do. Sometimes I would do pasta with his meatballs, and that was literally what he would have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Because I did not have the motivation to make him other meals. And that is so sad because, like, he deserves to have better meals, healthier meals. And I just wasn't giving him that. I really wasn't giving him that for a couple months. And he was starting to get really tired of his meals. And I was like, he just doesn't like eating. When in reality, he just wanted something new. He wanted something different. His snack would literally be teething crackers or puffs, the Happy Baby teething crackers, or Gerber puffs or Happy Baby puffs. He was hardly getting anything else. And I feel so guilty. The other thing I was doing was I was still giving him like 4 bottles of formula a day because I was like, well, he's not eating that much. You guys, he wasn't eating that much because I wasn't giving him that good of food. I wasn't giving him food that he was super excited to try because he had been eating the same thing for a very long time. And we were trying to give him formula because we're like, he's not eating enough, he's not getting enough calories. And then he started to have issues with constipation, which we believe was due to giving him too much formula because he was 1 year old and he was still getting 4 bottles of formula. And that's just so upsetting. It's so upsetting, and I have so many regrets about that, and I feel so bad because he deserved to have so much better. And looking back on it now, like, I know why he didn't want to eat his meals. I know why he was kind of becoming a picky eater. And it's because who wants to have the same exact thing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day? I know I don't. I mean, sometimes I would swap lunch and dinner so they would be a little bit different from day to day, but it was about the same thing every day. And it just wasn't that good for him. After looking into all the ingredients and all that stuff, it wasn't that good for him anyway. So I recently changed my tune. I've started actually making him meals and planning out his meals. And we've already noticed such a big difference in his diet and how he's eating. And I just feel really bad that it took me this long to wake up and realize that I needed to do more and make him better meals, or meals that are better for him. He's also only having 1 bottle a day now. He's down to 1 bottle. Otherwise, he's drinking milk, and he is having that 1 bottle before bed. And it's actually a toddler formula now. He's not having his formula that he had as a baby. This last confession is one that I have cried over. It's one that I know I will be judged for, without a doubt. But I thought it was very important that I share it. And that is that I was putting my phone before my child. When I say I was putting my phone before my child, I mean that my child would be upset and I would just be scrolling through my phone. I would be on social media. I would start to get agitated because he would be fussy, and I'm like, why is he fussing? And I was just trying to distract myself and do something on my phone. That is not okay. That is never okay. I honestly feel so crappy admitting that, because it was not fair to Grayson. It wasn't fair to Kevin. I was putting my phone before him. I had like a really bad phone addiction. There were times where Kevin would tell me that, you know, I was putting my phone before Grayson, and I would snap at him about it because I was defensive, because in reality, I knew I had a problem with it, but I just didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to get it under control, and I didn't know where to go from there to make it better. But you guys, like, nothing will make you feel worse than realizing that you and your baby have been in a room together playing, and most of that time you were on your phone and you just tried to have them occupy themselves with a toy. That was my wake-up call. That was when I realized, this is not okay. Why am I putting my phone before my baby? He needs me. He's going to remember his mom always having a phone in front of her face if I'm not careful. And that is not at all an image I want him to remember about me. I don't know why I've gotten so bad about my phone. I think part of it is because my social media job required me to be on my phone a lot, but I quit that job with the intent of being on my phone less, and it helped for a little bit, and I did go on like a social media cleanse for a weekend, and that helped too, but then I was right back at it, almost worse than ever, and it was just really, really bad, and also very embarrassing, and I'm ashamed to admit that. I'm super happy to say that I'm a lot better now. I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect, but whenever Grayson and I are in his room, I make a big effort to put my phone up on a shelf in his room so I don't even have access to it. And that time that we're together is a time when we're together. I'm engaged with him. I'm not scrolling through my phone. Every now and then I'll go to check a text or something, and I do fall into a rabbit hole where I start to like, oh, let's check Instagram. Let's see what's going on there. But for the most part, I'm being so much better about it. I am just working really hard at that because I am sick. I'm sick to my stomach that I was actually that addicted to my phone that I was putting it before my child. I can't believe I did that. I think maybe it's more common because of how our phone is always at our fingertips, you know, given the fact that it's 2021, but I don't think it's okay. At least in my case, it wasn't okay. It was making it hard for me to remember certain moments of Grayson's because I was on my phone. And that's horrible, horrible. And just made me realize, like, these moments are precious. He's already 1, he's 13 months old. He's gonna be bigger before we know it. And do I wanna look back on those times and not really remember them because I had my phone in front of my face? No. I turned into an actual phone zombie, and I have gotten to the point where my fingers are just like twitchy, you know? Like, it's that bad. I also want to say that I know that it's okay to be on your phone around your kids sometimes, but I feel like there's a healthy amount to be on your phone around your kids and an unhealthy amount. And I was definitely way past the unhealthy amount. I will also sometimes just not even have my phone in the room with me because I know I'll be tempted by it. So if I know that I'm gonna be spending time with Grayson, I wanna read him books and teach him things, my phone is not in the room with me because I don't need it. I really don't need it. That's the whole reason I quit my social media management job, because I wanted to prioritize Grayson and his needs. I also did delete my Facebook app, and that has helped a lot. I never realized just how much I would go on Facebook and scroll, but I am kind of considering just deleting my Instagram app too, because I don't really use it that often. I'll post cute updates of Grayson every now and then, but that's about it. And that's another thing I will catch myself going and doing, is just going to Instagram stories and just watching people on Instagram. There's a time and a place for it, and when your baby or your toddler or your child is awake and wants to play with you and be engaged with you, that's just not the time. And I've definitely learned that. And like I said, I'm not perfect. There's days where I do pick up my phone and scroll a little bit, and then I catch myself and I just stop, close out all my apps, and put my phone away and focus on Grayson. But for the most part, I've tried to be so much better for him, for Kevin, for myself. I just want to be a more present mom and wife, and my phone was really preventing me from doing that. I wanted to open up to you guys about that because it's something that I have struggled with for a while, and I don't make it very obvious. And I know in my vlogs it can seem like I'm super engaged with Grayson, and you know, that he's my focus, my main priority and my focus. But there are times where the camera's not on and I'm on my phone scrolling, and so that's what you don't see. So I don't want to say I'm a bad mom, but I'm a work in progress mom. My being on my phone is definitely my biggest struggle and something I'm working so hard to correct for Grayson. Well, you guys, that is all I have for you today. Those are my confessions about being a mom. It was very scary to open up and be very raw and real with you, but I think it's important every now and then. And I think it's very important that you know that I am not perfect. I am not the perfect mom. And even if my videos make it seem like every day is peachy or like I got it all together, I do not. I do not have it all together. I don't believe anybody does. And if it seems like they do, just know they don't. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.